Good morning, Taiwan, and thank you for joining us this morning. I am Louisa Lee. 欢迎收看 Louisa 报报，每天给你最新最有趣的新闻。First, keeping you updated with the earthquake in Turkey that has killed scores of people. More than 2,000 rescue workers are on the ground, fighting against time to find survivors through piles of rubble, digging with shovels, heavy machinery, and even bare hands after a deadly 7.2 magnitude earthquake shook the eastern Turkey on Sunday. 先来关心土耳其的强烈地震，目前已经有超过2000个搜救人员在进行救援行动。不过，这场地震已经造成了279人死亡，近1000栋房子倒塌。
279 people have been reported dead, with 1,300 injured so far. The death toll is expected to rise even more. Numerous aftershocks have rattled the Turkish city of Van, which is one of the nation's poorest areas. According to sources, about 970 buildings have collapsed, while electricity and natural gas have been off in most part of the city on Monday. Tens of thousands of residents have been in the open air, living under freezing conditions, with returning home not being an option. The authorities have since sent 8 teams from north and east of Turkey to the earthquake-hit areas to assist the victims.
And to news in Libya. Now that Libya is finally freed from former dictator Muammar Gaddafi's iron fist, what does the future hold for the Libyans, and who will be taking over the position to govern the people? Gaddafi 独裁统治结束后，利比亚目前已经在讨论组织新的过渡政府，预计2个星期内就会有结果。
After the celebrations comes the new government. The day after Libya declared the end of the Gaddafi era, discussions are underway about Libya's next interim government, with a decision expected in a matter of weeks. Head of the National Transitional Council, Mustafa Abdul Jalil, spoke in Benghazi.
Yes, it will not take a month at all. This will be done within only 2 weeks from now.
Abdul Jalil, who on Sunday said Libya had taken Islamic Sharia law as its source of legislation, tried to allay fears that the country may drift towards religious extremism.
I want to assure the international community that we as Libyans are moderate Muslims.
His comments came while hundreds of people viewed the rotting corpse of former leader Muammar Gaddafi, a practice that was stopped later on Monday.
أولاً موضوع جثة معمر القذافي المجلس الوطني اتخذ قرار وشكل لجنة لهذا الغرض.
As for the body of Muammar Gaddafi, the NTC has made a decision and created or established a committee for this purpose.
With big oil and gas reserves, Libya has the potential to become very prosperous. But analysts also warn regional rivalries fostered by Gaddafi could erupt into yet more violence.
And to other news, residents in Southeast Asian countries are struggling to remain positive, with the floods preventing them to get their lives back. On the bright side, the Chinese government has been supportive from the start by sending foods and supplies to the people in Cambodia. 柬埔寨水患情况还是很严重，为了帮助灾民，中国政府已经提供将近1000万美元的物资给柬埔寨。
Cambodians forced from their homes by floodwaters welcome Chinese aid. Flooding caused by severe monsoon rains has killed 247 people here and affected another 1.6 million. It has also caused a major food shortage. To help ease Cambodia's plight, China is dispensing food and other supplies to grateful recipients.
China's aid for the flood disaster is now almost $10 million, and it's very important for us that when we have a flood disaster and any other crisis, they help us immediately, and they write letters for donations from the government and the people of China with solidarity, friendship, and cooperation with Cambodia.
Meanwhile, in Thailand's capital, residents are parking cars along elevated highways as the worst flooding in 50 years approaches from the north. Others are taking shelter in Bangkok stadiums, where conditions are becoming strained as the flooding spreads.
Water flooded the first floor, so the evacuees have to resettle on the second floor. Some of them have to sleep on stadium seats, but now the seats are overcrowded. The place is getting hot because we only get power supply from a generator.
Large parts of Southeast Asia are covered in water after months of heavier than normal monsoon rains.
And to entertainment news, now let's find out which film just premiered at the 55th London Film Fest that will run until this Thursday. Singer-turned-director Madonna stole the show with her latest directorial effort, drama film W.E. on the red carpet, which blends two romances from different time periods together, constantly referring the modern love relationship with the affair of King Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson. Madonna 最近到了伦敦出席影展，宣传她的新片 W.E. 电影描述英王爱德华八世为了爱而放弃王位的故事。
Sitting on both the director and writer's chair, the Queen of Pop Madonna was joined by the main cast members of W.E. on the red carpet to promote for her new film, which centers around the much publicized and highly denounced relationship of King Edward VIII and American divorcee Wallis Simpson. His strong will to be with the woman he loved eventually led him to abdicate his British throne. Although W.E. has been featured in both Toronto and Venice film festivals already, Madonna said that she's more nervous about how it would be received in London.
Slightly more nerve-wracking because it's about an English king. It's primarily filmed in England. It's an English production. Most of my actors are English. And well, I know the Brits are tough critics, but I hope they like it, yeah.
The Material Girl joked that even though she enjoys unleashing the creative side of her on the big screen, she would always have to return to music for more money.
Sure, but I have to go back in the recording studio and make a living.
Both of the leading actors, James D'Arcy and Andrea Riseborough, said that they were thrilled to have the opportunity to work with Madonna, with D'Arcy revealing the real reason why he took on the role.
Yeah, half and half. Half interested in the role, half interested in Madonna. Come on, let's be honest. It's Madonna. Everybody wants to meet her and have a go. You know, try and work with her or something. It'd be great.
W.E. is slated for release in the U.S. this coming winter.
Any good coming of it?
Why?
Your family will never stand for it. The Prime Minister won't stand for it.
Then I'll give up the throne.
And I will be the most despised woman in the world.
Why do you belittle yourself? They would be lucky to have you as their queen.
You're delusional. If I had any sense at all, I would just disappear.
Don't you understand? You can do whatever you like, go wherever you want. But whatever you do, I'll follow you.
And in related news, director Steven Spielberg is doing what he does best. This time around, he's bringing the Belgian comic book hero Tintin alive on the big screen. Along with the main actor, Jamie Bell, the award-winning director premiered one of the most anticipated flicks, The Adventures of Tintin, The Secret of the Unicorn in Brussels last weekend. 大导演 Steven Spielberg 将漫画《丁丁历险记》搬上了大荧幕。周末他到了 Brussels 参加电影的首映会，有很多热情的漫画迷也参加，非常的热闹。
Around 10,000 loyal fans packed the opening event, with many of them dressed as the Belgian comic journalist in the movie, while carrying stuffed versions of his sidekick, Snowy the dog. Director Steven Spielberg and actor Jamie Bell both attended the premiere to promote their latest adventure flick, The Adventures of Tintin. To make LJ's comic possible on the big screen, Spielberg worked with the Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson to create a vivid animated film through a technique similar to that deployed in Avatar. Director Spielberg talks about how the late writer, who was responsible for painting one of the most popular European comics of the 20th century, would have found pleasure in seeing the adaptation of his works.
But I think he would like very much the fact that we basically we unlocked our imaginations and we just felt that we could do things with Tintin and Captain Haddock and the Thompsons that I think are both very similar to what he's already done and also a little bit beyond that. You know, when I say beyond that, but things that only movies can do. So I think he would have liked the picture a lot.
Billy Elliot star Jamie Bell, who portrays Tintin, had to get used to acting in a special suit, which registered his movements. The data was then transformed into a computer-generated, three-dimensional image of his character. Bell said while it was nearly every actor's dream to work with two titans of the movie industry, he was also petrified before the shooting began.
Yeah, I was terrified. I mean, I think Stephen said something in a press conference, which is like, if you're not anxious, you're not doing your job right. I think anxiety actually produces results. So it was good anxiety.
After the world premiere, The Adventures of Tintin will open in several European nations next Wednesday and in South America and Asia on November 10th, before hitting theaters in the U.S. and Canada on December 21st.
And both films of completely different genres are highly recommended. And that's it for today's edition. I am Louisa Lee, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at the same time. Now stay with CTS to catch the latest Taiwan news.